Welcome to Tibet USA. Phuntsok, hello.
Welcome to Tibet USA.
How are you doing, my friend?
Like I said before, better on the inside than outside.
Better on the inside than the outside. So you look rough on the outside, but inside you're got it all together. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because it looks like you got it kind of together today. So maybe you're like super together inside.
You're looking at my clothes?
Yeah, you got like an Indiana Jones shirt on.
Interesting.
Do you know who Indiana Jones is?
Movie?
Yeah, the character.
Yeah.
He's an archaeologist,
Oh.
professor, teaches during the day and then takes trips to go around the world to find ancient artifacts of, religious, spiritual, cultural interest. The Ark of the Covenant from the Bible, the giant gold box where God instructed people to put the Ten Commandments.
Wow.
Yeah, the last cup of Christ, the cup that was used at the last Passover.
Interesting.
What else is he look? Oh, well, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a crystal alien head. That's a little bit off the path, but anyway.
Wow.
It actually kind of fits into Tibet USA, spiritualism and divergent realities converging in a place that we like to call Tibet USA.
My mind is just stuck at the clothes. Not that I care much, but people tend to judge. People focus more on the clothes, the fabric that you wear, now extend to the brand name and all of that, right? So when I said better on the inside than the outside, what I meant by that is that I put value for what is within me inside more than outside. But I guess the rules of the game, the world play is different, right? So people do judge from outside, and it's important. But
you got to rock the look.
Say what?
You have to rock the look.
You have to rock the look, huh?
You have to rock the look. Maybe that's our new Tibet USA slogan, where we rock the look. And we're falling apart on the inside. No.
Do you have to dress good to feel good, or you have to feel good to dress good? Feel good.
Deep
and then
questions.
Is it? Did I communicate clearly?
Yeah. Which is a great question.
People say that I dress good, then I feel good, right? So
I usually can't go that way. I can't dress up and then feel better inside, because my internal measure is far more outweighs my external awareness. I have to feel good inside. If I'm going to put something nice on, like really dress up, it totally comes from inside. That's me. Some people can do it, maybe go backwards like that, dress up nice, and then that affects their internal, or like the way people look at them. Dressed up nice helps them kind of feel better. I don't like being looked at that much, so it doesn't affect me. But I like how you clarified, how you said you value your internal more than your external. That kind of answered your question of like, I'm better on the inside than the outside. So you're doing well on the inside. Your mind is good. Your spirit is good.
So going forward, if I say 7 on a 10 scale, that means I'm okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming out of this, I thought you will be a little bit exhausted, tired today, because you had a concert yesterday, right? And I just thought today will be, this episode will be more of a retreat, relax. It's just then, picking up some heavy topics like in the previous, like 5th episode that we did last week. But you look refreshed. So that must be a good, tell me about the concert.
Yeah, thank you. When we talked yesterday, I said, "Hey, I have a show tonight, and I'm probably going to come in kind of tired and a little bit worn out." And now I'm sitting here with you, and I don't feel worn out. I don't feel tired. I feel pretty alert. So the concert last night was with a friend of mine named Van Nixon. Shout out Van. He's an artist, musician, band leader, songwriter that I've known of for about 25, 30 years or so, and we just started playing together a couple weeks ago. We played at a little place in South Minneapolis named Gigi's Cafe. G-I-G-I, Gigi's Cafe. Beautiful little South Minneapolis cafe, coffee shop, restaurant. Nice vegetarian options for people. And I had a BLT, not vegetarian at all. Mm-hmm. But a nice group of people came out to see us play, and we played our own music, our own original music. I played a small set, he played a small set, and then we carried on for the rest of the night, joining in each other's music. So I played along with him, he played along with me, and we did some jamming, which in musical parlance is unplanned, spontaneous creation of music together in the moment. So we just jammed.
Wow.
Along with playing some of our songs. So it was a great night. So many beautiful people came out to listen to Van and to me, and had some really nice interactions afterward. I played a song I think we've talked about before here of mine that I wrote called Temple. Mm-hmm. And it asks the question, if our bodies are a temple or like a housing mechanism for our spirits, how do we have to treat that temple, and what happens inside there? And do we let certain thoughts in? Do we let certain people in to that space of ours? What does it mean to have your body be a temple? And that's kind of a Christian idea that I'm aware of, and I would bet that there's notions, concepts of that in your tradition, Phuntsok, and probably a lot of traditions out there, but I approached it from what I understand. And it's a song I wrote watching my mom as she was struggling to let go of her spirit at the end of her life. And I didn't really give that introduction, I just sang the song last night. And a lady came up to me after and just said she was so moved by it and really appreciated the kind of the exploration of that idea of the body being this sort of temporary place that we have to house all the stuff that we have in us, thoughts and
beautiful
dreams and our spirit, whatever that form that may be. And then when we die, we leave that temple behind and the spirit goes somewhere else. And so I thought it was really cool that she connected with it without really knowing anything about why I wrote it, just my lyrics. So I would love to sing it for you sometime. I don't have my lyrics or my guitar here, so I'm pretty much useless without those two things.
Thank you for sharing that.
But,
it was touching, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I was going to be all tired after the night. It did the opposite for me. It energized me and kind of brought me down to the earth a little bit. It was nice. So
music can touch where words cannot reach. It's good. I like the way you explain it, that in a concert or invite people to share that space and share the space of joy or healing or transcendence, or it's more like a catharsis. Or you're sharing about your mom. Or you're saying something?
No, you're right. I'm just affirming what you're saying. I love it.
It's beautiful.
There's a guy who came up to me after that lady talked to me, and he said, "Hey," he knew Van, my musical partner. He came to see him, and he talked to me after he was done talking to Van. And he said, "Hey, thank you so much for bringing your music." And I played a lot of harmonicas last night because I play harmonica. I think we've done that season one. We both brought some reps. And he says, "You've inspired me to go pick up the harmonica." And then he went on to say that he has been sick recently, and this is the first time he came out of his house for a couple of months, and he found so much healing in the music last night. And that's exactly what you were just saying. People go to music and go to music events and listen to it to heal their minds and their spirits, because they're so fragile. Our minds and our spirits are so fragile. And I've certainly had periods where my mind has been broken and my spirit has been maybe not broken, but certainly bent, as well as my body, of course, because it's a very temporal form. But this guy was just there to heal up, and he caught some healing from both Van's songs and my songs. So super cool affirmation. And it kind of makes me so happy that I've pursued that part of me, songwriting, and putting my feelings and experiences into some kind of a format that can be recalled and re-experienced and shared with people, It's like so abstract, it's so bizarre, but it's just a wonderful way for me to like connect with myself and then share with other people. And then there's that circle. And that was what last night was all about. So.
The way you narrated it, the way you elaborated it, sounded like a mandala where people gather together and share the space and dissolve that separateness. And it's a powerful tool.
Sounds
wonderful.
wonderful.
You can open up hearts, people, who are stuck. It's healing, as you said. So
yeah.
I remember going. Is it okay to jump in like that? Okay. I remember going to big concerts in India, Nepal. It was a huge concert, right? And then people all are jumping and that shared. How should I say? Felt experience all together, right? Together doing that. From the point of view of the Buddhism, they will have this mandala, and they will show the gateways, the doors, and these are different tiers, and where you will reach. So it's when people all gather together in all walks of life and enjoying the song and that music, and transcending all these different, backgrounds they came from, and coming to that shared space and sharing the joy, feeling healed, and like I said, it's powerful. I was into that mode of thinking when you were explaining that, but of course you're much in this music field. But Tibetan Buddhism, again, it's all about they use music, this singing bowl, the drums, the bells, and all of this. They will use it as a tool, and as it's also considered powerful. When you know how to use it, right? Mm-hmm. So they will say that it will open up or trigger or invoke the enlightened energy in you. So they will use it skillfully. The music is all about that, and songs too. There's great Tibetan yogi named Milarepa. He is the only, I think, Tibetan who got enlightened in one lifetime, right? So he spontaneously sang thousands of songs, and these songs are in the form of blessings and teachings now, right? So Milarepa. So take it from here now. Songs. So good. We plan to have a theme music, but now I have an idea. We should also come up with some commercials. Tibet USA.
I'm wearing my Tibet USA hat, my beanie. I love it. I wear it all winter long.
Hey, did you know that listening to the Tibet USA podcast
Means you're a cool person?
For just for 15 minutes could increase your mental peace and compassion by 15% and save you 15% or more on your health insurance?
No. Hold on here.
Bum ba bum bum ba dum bum 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 bum. What is that? That's another advertisement, right?
That's us getting sued, is what that is.
What? We are farmers. No, we are
Dude, that's
mindful.
us getting sued.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll see. I don't think so. Hopefully not.
What I just said, Tibet USA. It's fact. We always talk about expanding our horizons, and of course, that will be healing and bring more compassion.
Yes.
And it's 15% is just I used it, but it could be 50%.
So the data says 15 or 50. We don't know. It's just the data's all squishy still. We're still looking at the data.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just to add a humor there. So
earlier you said, I said, how you doing? You said better on the inside than the outside. And then you went on to elaborate that because you're intentional about your inside, that maybe you feel like the shirt you're wearing or the way your hair is combed doesn't perfectly match that, and you're okay with that. So why is it that you're feeling so well today inside? Do you want to share on where your joy or balance or and this is a real question, I'm not just being goofy now. What is it that makes you feel okay today? Phuntsok, Dundap.
I like I'm okay because I'm happy because we are here sitting here doing this podcast. And this is not a small thing. This is a serious business because a lot of people are listening, right? And out of respect to those who are listening, we wanted to be sensitive as well as we wanted to share that. So I'm excited that I'm venturing into or I'm doing something like this. So I'm happy that we are sitting here, even though the way I say it, what I share is very raw, Eastern wisdom, and you are helping me and polish it or shape it into something which the modern world or Western mind can relate to. So it's good teamwork here, and I'm excited to be
cool.
Here, and that's why if you feel that's the energy being exuded from here.
Yeah, I'm just curious too why, where your source of daily contentedness comes from. Like maybe that's a general question. For example, for me, if someone asks me, "Well, yeah, how you doing?" and I answer honestly, I'll say, "Oh, I'm doing well," or so. But if I'm doing well, it's usually because I feel like I have the different things in the world that I want to be a part of, or that I'm doing, or creative efforts that I'm pursuing. They all seem to be kind of either advancing at the same pace or sort of in their place in my life, not taking over too much. Or I do this thing where I try not to compare myself to maybe my music to someone else's music, because comparison is the thief of joy, is a quote. I think you and I talked about that earlier this week when we were talking about how the podcast is doing and sort of what are our thoughts and dreams for it for the future. And I'm very hesitant to compare what I make to what other people make, for example. Or I guess it's really only in a productive state, not just me as a person, because you can't really compare people. But so when I'm feeling good, all the different aspects of my life are kind of balanced out, and I can be attentive to other people while still knowing where I feel. And if I know how I feel and I know where I am in the world, I feel like that's where I get my greatest balance and where I feel the most, good inside. And when things go out of whack for me, it's because something is being expected that I'm not prepared to give, or I don't know how to give. A demand put on me, maybe from work or from household expectation, whether it's having to fix something around the house that I don't know how to fix or I don't want to fix, and at those times I feel like my balance tips and I'm not so, it shows, How's that tea?
It's water.
It's just water?
So people will say now to that, to answer your question, or not that I needed to answer, they'll say it's normal, right? Nowadays people, when I say people, I'm not excluding myself. I mean myself included. It's interesting. If you really want to know what's going on in my head, it's really interesting. I'm intrigued by myself too. That sometimes when people say, "Oh, it's normal," "Oh, I feel burned out. I'm tired," and "Oh, it's normal," it's like, and then, "Oh, he got angry," and "Oh, it's normal." So or he got divorced. "Oh, it's normal." So now all the abnormals are now normal, and now the normal is not normal anymore. So me to go deep into this thinking, they was like, "Oh, he's weird. He's thinking deep. So, oh man, he's hallucinating." So it's not normal. So anyway, what I'm trying to get to is, in the previous episodes, we touched on some wisdom tradition, Eastern wisdom tradition, and then I'm kind of felt somewhere I made you feel a little uncomfortable when I went into these topics, this dimension. These are deep meditation, experiential thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are not ready for that, right? And what I'm trying to say is now the percentage or the statistical norm, not many people do that, right? They ponder or delve into or explore that. So I'm kind of, people say, "Oh, he's weird," right? So I got to know who I'm talking to, right? To connect. Not I'm saying about you in general. And there's this poem that I wanted to say this so that if I remember, I think it's the poem from, I don't remember. It's one of the greatest. I think he's either he's an Indian or he's a Rumi, or
There's a poet, Rumi.
Mm-hmm. Or is he Rumi? There are so many great saints or seers or mystics like Rumi in India at that time. So I'm not going to name them, but it goes like this. So I don't know exactly, but I don't have a script here.
Mm-hmm.
It's along the line of, when you have the wings, right? The wings to fly, while you're still crawling, kind of thing. So when you have the gift of life, human life, mm-hmm. to tap into those dimensions and explore, and you're not using it, your direction is somewhere else. That's where the trend is going. That's where the statistical norm is. That really, really, really intrigues. It's intriguing to me. Even this morning, this is my fresh experience. I looked out of the window, bright sun, it was beautiful. And I have these beautiful trees that I can see, right? And the greenery. Man, the one car passed by.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I felt?
Mm.
Oh, for a moment, everything is static. And then there is this motion, right? So I just got up from my meditation, and then I just be in that present moment to differentiate and to understand what's that now? There is this static. What it means to be being in motion, what it means to be being in static. There's lots to do. So then I just question myself, oh, okay, people may say this is overthinking or not. So there's lots to be in the present moment and feel completeness, feel the wholeness of it. And there's lots to ponder.
Can I read the Rumi poem to you?
Is there?
I looked it up real quick.
Cool.
Do you mind?
Thank you.
Yeah. Rumi, and we'll give you a little bit of information about him after this poem. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly.
So I don't remember the whole poem just on the top of my head. I just remember that thing. I love Rumi. And there's Kabir is another one. And then there's... anyway, there's a couple of Indian mystics that I read. Rabindranath Tagore, he's one of the poets, great Hindus, I think great saint. Anyway, so coming back to... Are you with me?
I am with you, sir.
You're going to elaborate a little bit further about Rumi, or is it good?
Well, for listeners that don't know who he was, I was going to...
Go ahead then.
His name is quite long.
Mulana something.
Jalal al-Din Muhammad Rumi.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Persian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was born in September, my month of birth, in 1207 AD or ACE. 13th century Persian poet, Islamic scholar, theologian, Sufi mystic. So he wrote mostly in Persian, so what we read is translated, of course. But he also wrote in Turkish, Arabic, and Greek. Wow. So, smart fellow, knew some languages. My friend Darren, who I hope to have on our program sometime as our guest, shout out Darren, gave me a book of Rumi's poetry when Freya and I, my wife Freya and I were first married. And I love that book. It's a beautiful reminder to me at that time when I was 26 of every culture is writing poetry. Every culture has thoughts and explanations and visions and dreams about who they are, where they came from, what love is, what suffering is. It was a good experience for me. And you think that everybody knows that the world is full of people that have dreams and thoughts, but at some point you don't really know that. I didn't know that until people started handing me things, and it was like, oh my gosh, everybody in the world is...
So it's not just one method or approach or tool. There's a lot of different, how should I say, approach to be at where you want to be at, right?
Yeah, or to explain what we're feeling.
Yeah.
And I think I had probably more of an ethnocentric view of the world until I was probably 15, 16, 17. And then another door opened in my late 20s, mid-late 20s, about how vast the world's body of thought and experience and tradition.
Oh, you have long ways to go.
I do.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's actually true. That's part of the reason I love doing this podcast, Phuntsok, is we sit across from each other and you'll sit there and tell me about this wisdom tradition that you grew up with, that was handed down to you, that's been around for thousands of years. And it blows my mind that something can be so clearly defined and such a part of your fabric, and I knew nothing about it. Right?
I was growing up in India. I know I keep interrupting you.
No, it's good. We're getting back to the basics of Tibet USA, old school Tibet USA.
You go ahead.
No, you do it, man. I'm done.
Grew up in India, right? So India such a multicultural, country, Hinduism and Muslims, Islam they call it, right? So I hang out with the Islamic brothers and friends, and they will explain about Quran a lot. So at one point I was deep in Quran, the holy Quran, and I understand where they're coming from. They will explain about soul. They will explain about God breathed to that, first they created this and all of that. Let me not go into that because I'm not the right person, but I can connect with them. So even Hinduism, then my Hindu friends who are from Hindu tradition, I go to their celebrations, festivals, and be with them, right? Get to enjoy it. I never thought I'm separate from them. I'm different from them. I just was able to blend in and connect my heartbeat, the rhythm, in sync with them, right? Just be with them. And they never questioned that, right? Beautiful. Beautiful. And then go back home in a Tibetan family, Buddhist, right? Then I have the Tibetan Buddhist thing to do. Now I have to come back to this, right? No, yeah, you got influenced by this. My parents say that, right? My dad will say that. Oh, you got a little bit of influence from this, that way you said it this and you said it that.
In a disparaging way?
No. He said it in a very mindful, thoughtful, in a therapeutic way. He was just helping me out to intellectual way, to help me to, like a mirror, to see where I'm at. And what I'm trying to get to is that even I'm losing my train of thought here. Sorry, you're saying something?
No, I interrupted you. I'm trying to find the thread again.
No. I was looking deep in your eyes, so I thought your expression caught me, and then I got sidetracked here. So boom. Yeah. When I touched on those,
there's a lot there in
topic,
what you just said. By the way, there's a lot there. We could do a couple.
I said
podcasts.
Something about Tibetan Buddhism last time on 5 aggregates.
Well, you were hanging out with all these different communities, and you felt like you were just one, and you were all one, like the Mandala idea.
Yeah.
Everybody was there. Everybody was. The boundaries are dissolving, and that's like my concert last night. There were no boundaries.
No separateness. Yeah.
At first, I sat down and I played, and there was this huge gap between me and my guitar and my microphone and the audience. And by the end of the night, there was no boundary. The boundary had dissolved. We were all people that had these shared experiences, and there was an emotional like circuitry that was getting wired, that had been wired throughout our couple hours together. Those boundaries, when they dissolve, it's a beautiful thing, and that's what.
But I'm heavily influenced, or I practiced Tibetan Buddhism in particular, and adopted the Buddhist approach, mostly. Not what do you call a really good practitioner. I try, but it's beautiful that there's this concept of this conditioned mind, right? Conditioned mind, and how to come out of this conditioned mind, and there's this liberation, and now when this statement, conditioned mind, came, now you got to unpack that, right? Oh, what are they talking about? What is conditioned? Oh, this, you have this false, you have a misunderstanding of this self, and then what is this, right? So that's why when I'm studying Buddhism, they say 5 aggregates: body, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness as 5. And they will say that this is like a process. It's a flow. It's just that, but it's not permanent. It's not. Don't hold on to that as something intrinsic, something eternal, something permanent as self, because that will be the source of suffering, because these fluctuate, these change, these are impermanent. people, that's cause of the suffering. It's beautiful to study that. It's interesting. It's very enlightening. And I see that where I'm conditioned, right? Conditioned mind, conditioned. So when I'm sharing that on this podcast, I have to be also skillful and, careful how I do it, because the other person has some other realities and traditions that he or she has exposed to.
I think that's a good jumping off point. Last week, episode 5, we jumped into that head first, and I think maybe, I don't know if we want to do it today, but I think unpacking what we were talking about might be helpful for me.
Okay.
To understand you, and our listeners, of course, too, to understand more. Sort of a surface level. Is that okay if we do that, or should we just pause on that? That was just an idea.
I'm okay.
You're all here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No,
Would you call me Goat Head?
What is there to unpack?
A question I have that I think might help me understand your perspective more is this idea of suffering. And it's something that, again, my friend Darren Fisher introduced to me when we started having conversations 30 years ago about his Buddhism and my Christianity. And he would say the point of Buddhism in his mind, and he was studying Tibetan Buddhism at the time, and he's a Westerner.
Okay.
So it was newish to him, but he went very deep into it and still is. Went to Nepal, did some retreats, met with a lot of people, studied, meditated. He says the goal of, and I'm sorry, Darren, if I'm misquoting you, brother, but I heard it as the point of what he's doing, and probably a lot of, not just Tibetan Buddhism, but to alleviate suffering, and to address suffering in humanity. And that was a topic last week. I'm kind of losing my thread, but my question is, how do you define suffering? When you say there's a lot of people who are suffering, maybe because of a conditioned, mind, or maybe they're toiling in a karmic pattern, or I've got a definition of suffering. You've got a definition of suffering. Your tradition has a definition of suffering. And just like I asked you this morning, how you doing, Phuntsok? You could be suffering inside, and I could not see it, right? So, I don't know, I thought that might be a place to start, to help me understand the self, and focusing on the self, and Atman and non-Atman, and how when we're focusing on ourself, that's the focus of, or that's the root of suffering, right? So, what is suffering?
I will come back to that.
Yeah.
And I have to say this thing first. Time that you and I, everyone on this planet, when we use the concept of time, it's very relative. We created time, right? Time is not. It's going to be too deep, but time for you and time for other animals are different, right? Time, the length, and how long is the time, the concept of time. For some, time is too long. For you, when you're waiting at nearby the washroom, you really need to use the washroom. 5 minutes could be too long too, right? It's very relative, what I'm trying to say. So, on this planet, we are born here as a human being. This time that we have, they say that this is very short. It's just like a lightning, so short, right? That we have eons and eons, to go. And we've been already, but now we still will go. And this cycle will go on and all. They call it different kalpas, right? Kali Yuga. And they were talking about not just 100 years old, 60 years old, or 1 day, or 24 hours. They were talking about like a lot, stretch of long time, if I have to use the word time here. So this human life is so precious. It is so short. We got a very short, time to work on. Like you said, Rumi said, you got to fly, right? You're built with the wings while you're crawling. And in that momentary bliss or happiness or pleasure you identify with, stuck with, they will say that, oh my goodness, you misunderstood this. Now you got stuck here. This will create another imprint. This will create another karma, and that will be the source of another continuity for your next life. They will say, due to this conditioning, you will be born again because you couldn't unravel or uncover or enlighten or open up to see that. You couldn't liberate yourself. So that's why they're going. So that's why the suffering is the ignorance that is causing the suffering, because out of ignorance you couldn't see that as a suffering. You identified that suffering as a happiness or pleasure or entertainment or like that. I didn't explain what is suffering, right?
It's not a fair question. It's a huge question, but it's something that stuck out to me from our conversation last week. Is I think a phrase or an idea you were trying to get through to me and explain was that focusing on ourself and holding on to this idea of self is a point of suffering, and that's just not. I get that from my own perspective. I can kind of see what that means, but I don't think I was getting it from what you were saying. So
it's okay. So long as there is a birth, they will say birth is a suffering because you're bound to go through all these ups and downs in life, and therefore this is that.
I get that.
But that's okay, they say. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. But then you got to take that opportunity to take that leap, jump. You got to come out of this, transcend this, and there's a way to do this. That's why there's this historical Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, in 2,500 years ago in India, ancient India. He gave all these teachings, right? 5 aggregates, and these teachings to come out of this cyclical existence, they call it. And that's another way of looking at it, Buddhist way of looking at it. And different culture has different methods and tools. But I guess they're pointing towards the same thing, the liberation. Come out of it. Go to that pristine, pure awareness. You want to call it divine, God, whatever you want to call it, right? But different approach. So I don't know much about others, but other cultures and tradition, but I'm just explaining to you from the point of view of Buddhism that little that I know of. So if you are identifying yourself as that physical body, that you, and that flesh and bone you said, right? Who made the cookie or whatever you want, the last. And I'm sitting here across your Phuntsok doing this podcast, right? And he says, okay, I'm seeing you, Mark, physically seeing you. But this is all fluctuating. It's very interdependent. It's all conditioned. It's all changing. And it's nothing, I cannot just hold on to that as you, as Mark. It's not fitting that thing. That is just so... anyway, am I clear so far? So therefore... it's interesting to know different wisdom traditions and learn and expand your horizon. It's beautiful that way. And back in the days, we don't have the convenience or the transportation to explore different places. Now we have technology to fly off to all countries, different places to see, that culture, that tradition. And then you don't even, sometimes you can watch on television, right? Internet is there. And what we're doing now, we got so sidetracked into something else. But not trying to be judgmental, but it's just that, like going back to the Rumi, like you can do all the n number of things, but all this, at the same time, this is one of the key unique thing that as a human we have the potential to, and we wanted to explore that. I don't know, I keep jumping onto that part again and again.
The Rumi.
Not just the Rumi, but the human precious life that is slipping away.
And that's been an answer. That thing that you have there that you're really shining a light on right now is also present in other things you've said about when I've questioned, well, why do dream meditation? Why not take the nighttime to just rest your mind, so you're ready to have all of your energy for the next day? And you've said, why miss that opportunity to look there and use that to almost tag team your spiritual or
waking state.
Yeah. And I get that, but I hear that sentiment, that thing. I think that's very Phuntsok. I don't know if you would. I mean, there's a lot in my mind going on right now, but I feel like no matter where you were born, you would have that in you, that need to soak every moment in and use every opportunity you have to see what can be seen, to know what can be known. And I'm glad you're using that power for good.
And then I'm very intrigued last time when I had this pushback from you that you said, I'm not comfortable, Phuntsok. No, it's not comfortable to go into this, right? Because I was really interested to see not just why you're not ready to explore that, also to mirror myself to see why I am like that, So it's using both at the same time. So I like to take this life as a journey. So, and in the journey, I really wanted to learn and not to get. Is that you or me?
I don't know. I think it was me.
Sound coming from
my tummy.
Tummy, okay. Is that you, really?
I don't know.
All right, so
your mic is closer to your tummy, so maybe it was you.
All right, I didn't eat anything this morning, so maybe it's just me. Yeah. It may be. So what were you saying?
You were saying you like to take this life as a journey. I do too. I think that's maybe one of the areas we meet. If we're a Venn diagram, that's one of our overlapping areas. Is I don't like things to be too prescribed to me or planned out. I have plans, and I have a plan for a lot of things, but I want to experience it. I want to do the journey. And I'm willing to look at things that are uncomfortable if I feel like I can grow.
In this Tibet USA podcast, when we talk like this, I have to be careful because the last episode when I touched that, recollecting on what I said, these are some deep essence of some, Buddhist traditions like Nyingma traditions and Dzogchen practice and all of that. That's why I mentioned the name Vimala Mitra. I found out the name Vimala Mitra. I know Mitra, but I just was hesitant to use Mitra. Mitra means friend, right, actually. But Vimala Mitra is the saint, or the seer, or the master, Buddhist master, traveled all the way from India and gave those teachings called Dzogchen, which in English means great perfection. And they emphasize on that, right? That what I gave you, the self thing. There is no different tradition, school of Buddhism, like Gelugpa tradition. I touched that on one of the episodes. Nyingma tradition, Kagyu tradition, all these different traditions. Within the Tibetan Buddhism, there are different traditions. Mm-hmm. So, Dzogchen tradition is from the Nyingma tradition is one of the ancient one, founded during Guru Rinpoche, by Guru Rinpoche, and this Milarepa. They were contemporary, 9th century, 8th century, whatever that is. The dates are very fluid, historical dates. So anyway, the name that I couldn't say clearly is Milarepa. He's the one who traveled all the way from India to Tibet. I've read something like he was there for 13 years in Tibet, teaching that the essence of great perfection, they call it. It's called Dzogpa Chimpo, Dzogchen. It's very interesting. So your friend, he will know, Daryl will know Dzogchen tradition. And Kagyupa, there's another one called Mahamudra. You will see it, Tibetan Buddhist in one group, they will say, I'm Kagyupa. Their essence of their focus and teaching is Mahamudra, right? And then there is Nyingmapa, they will say Dzogchen. We are Dzogchen, we're Dzogpa Chimpa tradition. So Dzogchen means great one. So Milarepa was teaching that at the time, and I'm sure hundreds, thousands of books written, right, translated by him, teaching self, not self. And he will first teach the view. The view is very important. View.
The view.
And
the view.
There's
your perspective.
Whole episode we can do on view itself.
Yeah.
So one of these days, because view is important, right? And
or
when you look at me,
your lens, as we say in modern terms, like your cultural lens that you're seeing the world through, right? Is that similar concept, the lens?
Before I came to Mississippi Library here to do this podcast, in the morning I do meditation, right? So in my deep meditation, this thing came, and I just constructed that we are coming in this library, sitting here, and talking, recording, and then leaving. So in this vast emptiness, I just visualized and came, and then dissolved it, right? So this is my practice. So you and I are safe here. So because I chanted mantras in there too when I did that. So this is another. See my view. See what do you see what I'm saying? The view that the approach that I'm taking. So it's very deep and different subtle ways to look at it. Or you can just say view, right? So we can talk about that. So Mahamudra, the Kagyupa's tradition, where Milarepa is from, is a Kagyu tradition. Milarepa that I mentioned, Mahamudra, emphasize on the view, right? And Dzogchen, the Guru Rinpoche, the Padmasambhava, and the Milarepa, it's Dzogpa Chimpa, great perfection. They will say, I don't want to say they will say. It sounded like there's a group of people, group chat, that they will say. It sounded like that. So yeah, they will intrinsic. They talk about that Dharmakaya, that the essence, that pristine, untouched, unborn space is already there. You don't have to do anything. It's already there. All you have to do is unpack that, declutter that, peel away that. It's already there. It's been there forever. Mark, where were you? All these eons, where were you, Mark? God damn it, get it now. That's what they will say. So it's interesting. It's also a very skillful approach to invoke or enlighten that thing in you. They will say it's already there. You don't have to go search somewhere else. It's already there. It's your intrinsic nature. It's already there. Very spacious. It's no different. Anyway.
I feel really strongly about that. Completely removed from that tradition you were saying, I have that feeling about my own potential as a human, as an artist, as a thinker, that I have everything I need inside me. to go to the very end of life. I don't feel like I need a lot of someone else's ideas, you know? And that's a bit false, because I do need, and I will speak for myself, I do need your ideas, your traditions to help me understand what I believe. But much of what I have inside me, Mark, just personally, I feel like I don't need a lot of, external input. If that's anywhere similar to what you're talking about. I don't know. Unrelated, but
No.
we've got a lot to talk about. We have suffering to talk about. I want to dip more into self, not self, and some of the Christian comparisons, because that's a goal of true Christian practice, is to prefer other people over yourself, to show compassion to others instead of putting all the energy into yourself. Losing yourself, I think, is a part of the best Christian practice. Loving your neighbor, caring for the widow, loving God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. We have to know ourselves to be able to do that. But it's not, the focus is not on us. The focus is on God, humanity, other people. So I think a different angle to what you're saying, self, not self, but there is a similarity there of this isn't it, or this isn't real. And for the listener, I'm circling my own head with my hands.
Hold on.
This isn't it.
Enthusiasm, how do you say that?
Enthusiasm? Enthusiasm?
And
if you're enthusiastic, you're really excited about something.
Motivation. All are good.
Mm-hmm.
But wisdom has to be there too. Right? To be able to elevate the sufferings of others. The motivation, the intention, it's enthusiasm is good, right? Passion is good. Commitment is good. The wisdom part is what we're saying is, who are we as a human, right? What is this human mind? Where we at? So the word mind in English is really bothering me here. You know why? Because I'm thinking about a Tibetan word, and Western mind, the word mind, means just the mind, right? It's just the thoughts. So I will get into this conundrum again for another 5-10 minutes. So anyway,
years.
Huh?
Years, 5 or 10 more years.
So
it's gonna bother you.
So therefore, it's good that intention is to help all the sentient beings, all the others. But at the same time, equally important is that you have to be able to be able to do that. I think wisdom is very, very important. It's like you want that iPhone to be so capable, right? But the software has to be good to be able to do that, right? The program has to be good. So therefore, I think all the wisdom traditions are same. All are to help others. I think no single religious wisdom tradition is against that. It's all elevate sufferings, help others, and Buddhism in particular will always do that, right? Along the path of your own salvation or nirvana, or coming to liberation, along the path, you create your own karmas. So you have to take care of the others, put others first. That's the key practice. And Christianity is the same, right? So, and Christianity, I see it in my experience, my eyes, that they are the forefront. We be it an earthquake, they will be there. Where there needs to build a school, they will be there. They will come and help, and they need a bridge or whatever their construction, whatever charity work, they are good at doing that. It's a practical in action, not just on theory. I respect that a lot.
Started to do that today.
Yeah, and the Four Noble Truths, they will say birth is a suffering. They will from the get-go they will start that. It doesn't mean that it's very pessimistic and it's all that, because we are so identified and misconditioned that we didn't know that it was suffering. That's another. This suffering, of course, is a suffering, right? But not understanding that suffering is a suffering is another cause of suffering too. We are in this temporary happiness. We're so hanging on that.
On that note, Phuntsok, this has been a beautiful hour of temporary happiness. Thank you for coming here and just freestyling some conversation with me.
Freestyling, huh?
Freestyling, yeah, like skateboarding, or when there's like poetry jams. You know what a poetry jam is? When people get up and they write poetry just on the spot, or they bring something they've done, and then people get up and kind of spar with each other. Freestyling, or like rapping. People freestyle and rap. That's what we do. We freestyle. And it's such a beautiful break for my mind to come and just sit down and not have to be on guard or prepare a bunch of different topics, although preparation never hurts. But the path we're on right now is one of authentic unfolding
of who we are.
Of who we are and what we think right now. So thank you for being real. Being real nice. Are you good?
I never doubted I'm not good. What are you asking that?
No.
Just kidding. I'm good. I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah.
I know you're good. I know you're good.
What is good?
That's what people say. Hey, what's good? You heard that at work? People come to you.
Yeah, it's very.
Yo, Phuntsok, what's good?
Yeah. What do you know?
Yeah, I hate that one. I don't know anything. I know a lot. I don't know anything. Depends what we're talking about. Like, I don't like that question. What do you know?
Smart answers that I get to hear at the gym.
Smart aleck answers?
Yeah, when I say, how are you? And I say, oh, they will have some very interesting twist there. Smart aleck, huh?
Oh, man, smart aleck. That was a phrase my dad used when I was being a smart ass at home. He'd say, oh, you're being a smart aleck. Like, what's an aleck? What's a smart aleck? Is there a dumb aleck? I don't know. Smart aleck. What is being a smart aleck?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Take us home, buddy.
We're done for today.
I think so.
Pretty good. So with that, on that note, we will end this episode here. And thank you all for listening to Tibet USA podcast. And take a deep breath. Breathe deep. Tune in. Subscribe to Tibet USA podcast.